You ever feel like you're just one step behind? Maybe in a negotiation, a big project at work, or even just a personal decision? Well, we're about to dive into the art of getting that strategic edge. And it's not about being smarter. It's about learning how to outthink the situation. So let me ask you this. In your daily life, are you playing chess or checkers? In checkers, the moves are pretty straightforward, kind of reactive. You take a piece, they take one back. But chess is different. It's about seeing the entire board, anticipating what's coming, and thinking several moves ahead. And that right there is the core difference we're going to explore. So what do we really mean by outthinking? Well, to put it simply, it's the art of anticipating and then shaping future outcomes. And here's the really crucial part. This is a learnable process. This is a skill you can actually build, not some magical gift you either have or you don't. So here's how we're going to break it down. We've got a 4-part framework. First, we'll talk about thinking beyond the obvious. Second, we're going to map out the entire playing field. Third, we'll focus on winning the most important game of all, the one inside your own head. And finally, we'll put it all together to make that winning move. All right, let's jump right into that first step, thinking beyond the obvious. This is all about making a fundamental shift in how you see things. Okay, this distinction is huge. Most of us, most of the time, are operating with first-order thinking. If I do X, then Y will happen. It's all about that immediate result. For instance, a company might decide to cut its training budget to save some money this quarter. The first-order result? Great, lower costs. But strategic thinkers use second-order thinking. They ask, okay, so costs are lower, but what's the consequence of that? And those second-order effects, they might be less skilled employees, lower quality work, less innovation, which in the long run could cost the company way, way more. It's all about seeing the ripples. It really just boils down to this. Whether we're talking about a game or just life, the best players aren't just reacting to what just happened. No way. They're already setting themselves up for the next 3, 4, even 5 moves down the line. So why does this matter so much? Because this one little shift completely changes your entire relationship with the world around you. You stop being a firefighter, constantly just reacting to problems as they pop up. Instead, you become an architect, proactively building the outcomes that you actually want to see. So once you're thinking ahead, you've got to understand the terrain, right? And that brings us to section 2, mapping the playing field. Think about it. Every situation you're in, whether it's a project at work, a family decision, a big negotiation, it's a system. And every system is made up of these interconnected parts. You've got the people involved, you've got the rules of the game, both the spoken and unspoken ones, and you've got the resources that each person brings to the table. Your goal is to see the whole system, not just your little corner of it. And this means you have to look deeper. It's so easy to just focus on the surface level stuff, what people are saying, what they're doing, but the real strategic gold is in understanding their underlying motivations. What are their incentives? What are they afraid of? What do they desire? That is where the real game is being played. So the single most crucial question you can ask yourself in any interaction is this one. What does the other player really want? I mean, not just what they say they want, but what is truly deeply motivating them. Figuring that out is like getting a peek at their hand of cards. And let me tell you, the payoff for doing this deep analysis is huge. It helps you avoid getting totally blindsided by someone's actions, and it uncovers these hidden opportunities, these little points of leverage where a small action from you can create a really significant positive outcome. Which brings us to what might be the most critical piece of this entire puzzle, section 3, winning the inner game. You see, you can analyze the external world perfectly, map out every single player. But if your own internal thinking is flawed, none of it's going to matter. The hard truth is your biggest, most stubborn opponent is often your own mind and all of its hidden shortcuts and biases. So what in the world is a cognitive bias? Well, think of it like a mental shortcut. Our brains evolved to make super quick judgments just to save energy. And while those shortcuts are efficient, they can often steer us way off the path of clear, rational thinking. Let me give you a classic example, confirmation bias. This is our natural tendency to hunt for and favor any piece of information that confirms what we already believe. At the same time, we tend to ignore anything that challenges our beliefs. It feels good to be right, but man, it can totally blind you to what's really going on. So just take a second and think about that.
When was the last time you really truly changed your mind about something important? If it's kind of hard to remember, confirmation bias might be at play. Where do you see this pop up in your own thinking? And here's the bottom line. Becoming aware of your own biases is the only way you can start to see the world clearly. It is absolutely the key to making decisions that are truly strategic, not just gut reactions fueled by your own hidden assumptions. All right, we're in the home stretch. You're thinking ahead, you've mapped the field, and you've checked your own biases. Now, for Section 4, let's put it all together and figure out how to make that winning move.
First things first, let's get something straight. Strategy is not about one single brilliant dramatic action. That is a total myth from the movies. Real strategy is a deliberate sequence of moves where each one is carefully built on the solid foundation of the clear analysis you've already done. So here's a simple, super powerful loop you can use. Step 1, see the system. We covered that back in Section 2. Step 2, find the leverage point. This is that one spot where a small push will create the biggest ripple effect. And finally, Step 3, act with timing. Because let's be real, the best move at the wrong time is still a bad move.
And this isn't a one-time checklist. It's not something you do once and then you're done. It is a continuous loop. You observe the system, you think strategically, you act on a leverage point, and then what happens? The system changes. So you have to observe again, think again, and act again. It's a living, breathing process. Okay, so let's tie this all together. Here are the key takeaways. Number 1, always think multiple steps ahead using that second-order thinking. 2, analyze not just the board, but the deep motivations of all the players. 3, you have to recognize and actively manage your own mental biases. And 4, act strategically using that simple see, find, act loop. These are the fundamentals about thinking. They give you the tools to go from playing checkers to playing chess in pretty much every aspect of your life. So the only question left is, now that you have the tools, what game will you play differently?